Hello everyone, welcome back to Chill Deal Trades, where I analyze stocks so you know what's going on. Today we're going to be covering kind of a few different companies because I haven't done an update in a while. It's going to be Nano, NNDM, SOFI, PLTR, which is Planatir, Chargepoint, CHPT, as well as Paysafe, PSFE. We're going to kind of break down the charts as well as all the earnings coming up to figure out where the stocks could be headed. If you're here and you haven't hit the sub button yet, go ahead and hit that and join the community. Haven't made a video in a couple days, but I really would need you guys' support. Help the channel get to 500 subs. 1,000 is by November is the goal, and I really want to know what your thoughts are on these companies. So please put that in the comments as well. But the first company I want to jump into is NNDM, and so when we look at the earnings season for these smaller cap companies or mid cap companies is here. We've had all the big cap things, hot and cold, but a lot of companies beat. And now we have small mid cap. So I couldn't really find an exact date. Tell me the exact date in the comments, but I see August 11th or August 13th for NNDM. And here's my main concern with NNDM is due to all the supply chain issues as kind of caused by COVID, but at this point just everything's back and costs are really high, which is kind of making impacts on the supply chain. NNDM is having a lot of delays on their products, which I think they're potentially going to see in their revenue. And I do not think they're going to hit this earnings per share goal, EPS goal. If we look at the last few quarters, they've missed every one. They've gone in a lot more expenses than expected, through COVID. And I think that that's going to continue. We're seeing a lot of increased costs across the board. And so without them having a drastic increase in sales this last quarter, which really hasn't happened, we're going to see much higher expenses, and that might offset any incremental revenue they had this quarter. So that's something to look out for. August 9th to 12th. Tell me the real date in the comments. So when we look at NNDM's chart, I've kind of been telling you guys this for a while, like hold off on buying this. I think it was back at like $8. I was like, guys, just hold off. It's not worth it yet. But, everybody else online was saying something different. I give you guys the facts, give you the hard truth, and you could be buying back at $5-6. But, not gonna pat myself on the back too much here. Let's just look at the technicals. So we're kind of just in a sideways pattern for the most part. Not much is happening. Nothing on the technical indicators have told us that it's ready to break out. And so to do that, the main thing I look at is the 20-day EMA. So we failed to break up above it, and we haven't even tested it yet. We've come pretty close, but we haven't even tested it yet. And so this is something I'm going to be looking out for is until we break above that 20 EMA, come back and test it, then the stock is not going up. And we look at the MACD as well as RSI. RSI is staying below 50. I tell you guys this in every video. This is a momentum indicator, and the momentum is telling us that it's staying below 50, which means the stock can continue to get dragged lower. And on the MACD, we're not seeing it cross positive yet at all. And so it's saying that low volume, as you can see historically speaking, super low volume, RSI not moving, just staying sideways. These are all indicators of telling us the stock's either going to go sideways or slowly continue to go downwards. We have earnings, and so when we kind of look at this chart, one thing that we do see, let me get rid of this because this is getting distracting. We do kind of see a descending triangle, which could be happening. And ironically, the end of that triangle is at earnings. So I think at earnings, we're either going to see a breakdown or a break out of this triangle. If we do see a break out of that triangle, we also are breaking above this long-term downtrend, which could be a bullish indicator. If something positive earning comes out and we break above the 20, maybe we test the top of this consolidation range, come back and test the 20-day, and then break out from there. This could be the bottom for NNDM. So those are the things that I would be looking at. I think buying pre-earnings is too risky based on everything technically that's happening, but it's something to look at. And if you don't have any bias and you want to kind of play both sides on an option play, you can make money to the upside or downside based on what the charts are telling us. Next stock I want to jump to is SOFI. So SOFI, another loved one. So they apparently report earnings on the 12th, which is pretty similar to NNDM. And so we'll see. I personally have not done enough research in this company if they're going to beat or not. I would love to see hear your thoughts in the comments if you think they're going to beat earnings. But this is just a day to look out for, August 12th. I think they're a company that has amazing potential. The issue is kind of like NNDM. We're not seeing much in the charts that's telling us this is a raving buy. So we do have on the daily, MACD, the blue line has come across the orange like I always say. So we're seeing some positive momentum, but that's not enough to tell us a direction yet. We look in the past, these lines can move back and forth, and that can continue to send the stock lower. So it doesn't mean much. But what I'm going to want to see is, again, just like NNDM, this needs to break above 50 to show any potential bullish momentum. And we haven't broke above the 20-day. This is the same thing I'm seeing on all these charts. These retail stock, favorite stock companies. Same thing with SOFI. I told you, don't buy it back at like 19 bucks whenever I made this video earlier last month. And you could listen to me and saved a few bucks a share, or you didn't and you're in the red, or you had to sell at a loss. So I'm telling you, when I make these videos, I'm not making up what I'm talking about. These are all very easy indicators you guys can learn. The 20 EMA below it is negative momentum. RSI below 50, negative momentum. MACD under 0, negative momentum, plus at the blue lines up below, negative momentum. So we're not seeing much positive momentum yet, but very similarly to NNDM, we are kind of, I would say, in a descending triangle as well. We can extend this line here a little bit. So we see we bounced off the top of it today. And so we'll have to see if we continue in this direction. Again, out into earnings, I think it's going to make a decision. It's either going to want to go up or it's going to want to go down. One of those things are going to happen. And let's draw one more trend line because I actually forgot to draw it on this chart. Actually, a couple trend lines. Let's see if we have anything important here. Yeah, nothing too important actually. But we're just going to want to see it make a decision into this triangle, up or down. That's probably what's going to happen. If it does break above, we still need to break above this sideways action and the 20-day, come back and test the 20-day, and then maybe we'll see some more momentum to the upside. Those are things you're going to want to pay attention to. We're kind of hovering around this price. If we can't hold this price, it's probably going to go pretty drastically back to probably $12. We have this big green candle. Whenever we have big green candles, it means there's not much friction in the price to the downside. And so the next area we have is around that $13 mark, $12 to $13 mark, if we see something really bad. And then I actually would probably consider buying the stock at that point, but we would have to see. The next company I want to cover, I'm going to start going a little faster, is PLTR. Again, August 12th earnings. This is a company I love long term, but I don't know about their current valuation. I've made videos in the past. Go look at those at my channel. I'm curious what you think of the valuation, if it's worth it today or not. But technically speaking, we do have RSI creeping up, but we're not above that kind of range it needs to be above for positive momentum. So if we see this, hit this and come back down, it's still negative momentum. We do see some positivity in the MACD trying to present itself. But again, similar to the last couple stocks, it can go back and forth and not tell us much. So with any breakout, we're going to want to see multiple breakouts. So MACD showing positive, but we also need to get above this 20-day, or we need to get above 50 on RSI. I always like to use 2 or more indicators to tell me a change of direction or a potential buy, and I'm just not seeing that yet. We kind of have a sideways triangle here happening, and so again, into earnings. Earnings is basically at the end of this triangle, so we'll see what happens. If we break out to the upside above this consolidation zone, above the 20-day, or we break back down. If we break back down, we have support pretty far from here, back at $17. I honestly would maybe consider back at that price point, anywhere from $14 to $17, but that's just something to look at for that chart. The next stock is Chargepoint, CHPT. This is a company I like quite a bit long term, especially with the infrastructure bill potentially passing. They're working on it pretty diligently right now. There's a lot of money going to EV and the power grid, and all those things are positive for anything solar or EV related. And so September 2nd apparently is Chargepoint's earning date. It says most likely. Tell me if you guys have that exact date. I'm not too sure about Chargepoint on their earnings. We're still not having a lot of travel happen. People are driving more, but still not as much as they had pre-COVID. And so that's definitely going to impact the company. We had big loss last year, so we're going to have to see if that can reverse for the company. So those are a couple things I'm going to be looking at for this quarter. See if we can see a big change here. You know, last quarter, nice net income. Let's see if we can continue that trend moving forward. When we look at the charts, all these charts are really similar we're looking at. So that's not the company. But don't want to draw either. When we zoom in here, very similar to all the other charts, we're seeing the same trend everywhere. MACD, negative. RSI, not showing any life. And we're kind of in this descending triangle. So we'll have to see in the next couple weeks if this makes a decision or not. If not, we could probably see something like this if the market continues to go sideways. If we see the infrastructure bill pass, we could see a little push up higher on that, but we would still need to see a price break above 26. I made a video back here at this candle, and I said, or this candle, I can't remember which one, and I said, guys, this stock is going to have a hard time breaking above 27, the 20 EMA. I'm telling you guys, 20 EMA is like gold when you're looking at these stocks to figure out momentum. Pairing 20 EMA with RSI, it's even a better, honestly, combination with MACD, because MACD can tell us something a little sooner than RSI most of the time. But I told you it's not going to break out. You should have listened to that video. So now we'll have to see if we can make a decision out of this triangle. We're still holding the long-term uptrend line, which I've talked about in my previous videos. So that's really important. I talk more about the fundamentals of the company in the past Chargepoint videos. Go check that out. But this is something to take a look at coming into the next couple weeks. And you're just going to want to look at these indicators. Again, we need to see a break above the 20 EMA. We also have to see a break about 26 if we do break the EMA. If not, we're probably still not going anywhere. And then we have this big floor around $19, as you can see. We've held that pretty drastically in the past. And we'll have to see if the stock can hold that, you know, coming into the next month. And the last stock I want to cover is Paysafe. A company I think has a bright future if they can continue to make the right moves. They have earnings on August 16th. Put that on your calendar if you're covering this company or if you hold or like this company. This has been my main issue I've covered in past videos. You can go watch that on Paysafe where I cover the fundamentals of the company. This is the main issue. Their revenue hasn't grown much. This company really needs to see a growth in revenue if they're going to get more investors to buy into the business. They did make an acquisition. I think this company was, I can't remember, somewhere in Latin America. Peruvian company, Latin America, maybe trying to expand Latin America, grow that revenue channel. So we'll see if that has impact on the stock. But I haven't really seen anything too convincing. Revenues, for the most part, flat quarter over quarter, year over year. We're going to need a jump in revenue to justify the valuation on the company. Technically speaking, let me get to that real quick. I made a video back at, I think it was up here in this range. And on my live stream, I do that Sunday nights. It's on Twitch. You can check that in the description. I told someone back here, this stock's probably going back to $9 to $10. Look where it went, $9 to $10. Same thing here. We're seeing RSI is trying to break above 50, but it looks like we did get a fill on that breakout today on this big red candle. So we'll have to see tomorrow how that continues moving forward. MACD is trying to show some positive life, but it's starting to curl back down. So we'll have to see if that crosses back below. We've seen a lot of that here. And in all that action, we've seen lower lows. And so we'll have to see if that trend continues. We also try to break above the 20-day EMA. We broke above. You always need a second-day confirmation when you have a breakout. And second-day confirmation failed. And so we broke back down to the downside. We'll have to see if this little new uptrend line can hold or not. We'll have to see there. But if not, you know, we could definitely come back and test this $10 range on this really big red candle. But that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you like that content. I really want to know what you guys think about the stocks. Please put that in the description and hit the sub button if you haven't already. I really appreciate you stopping by, and I'll make a video every day for the most part. So I'll see you again either tomorrow or in a couple days.